Alrighty. So this week going into the week of the 17th to the 21st, here are the sectors. So we have XLC. Starting off with XLC, I do like calls above 59.43 to potentially take out these equal level highs. We just need to get that confirmation over this 59.63 level, then 59.80. And I also like puts as well below 158.66 to ultimately target 57.98. I would be careful on this though because we are in full time frame continuity. XLY, I do like a lot actually for the upside. As we see, we did get that trendline breakout, and we also got that retest right here that we got on the 10th. So ultimately looking to take calls above 147.80 to target 149.63, then from there 153.48. But as well, we also do have a put trigger below 145.68 to ultimately target 142.59. I would just be very careful and literally trim at your first price target of that 142.59, as buyers are present here on all time frames. XLP, something to be aware of. So we did not grab this liquidity just yet from 75.88. We came very, very close, but we still missed it by 9 cents. So going off of that, ultimately, like calls above 75.79, but just be aware our very first price target is literally a 9-cent move. And if we can get that close above that 75.88 level, then we can get that move up to 76.70. We can also take puts below 74.97 to target 74.64, and we do have a gap to the downside at 74.11. Next, we have XLE. So with XLE, we have been showing a lot of relative strength compared to most other sectors. So with XLE, I do like calls above 87.74, ultimately to target 89.73, then from there 92.19. I do like puts as well below 86.72, ultimately to target potentially 50% of the gap fill. As we know, a lot of buyers do like to step in around 50% of the gap fill, which is at 83.54.
All right, so we're gonna finish it out here with the last 5 sectors. It's gonna be pretty straightforward here with XLI. XLI call trigger on the week is gonna be 138. Then we got our put trigger here at 97.39. Really, we're gonna be looking for calls to head up to 101.77 for puts. Our trigger is 97.39, but we're going to be really looking at 97.08. This is a nice candle here. We did create relative equal lows and swept this level of liquidity here. So I'd be looking for that 1-2 up to reach this level of buy side liquidity here for XLI. With XLB, we have a nice 2 up here. We do have relative equal lows, so keep that in mind. It's a nice body closure. Buyers definitely did step in. So we got 79.24 for our put trigger. We got 81.89 here. So we want to look for that 2-2 continuation up, or we could come back down. We do have a strong fair value gap here that we did pretty much bounce off of. So if we're looking for targets for calls to the upside, this is a stretch here, but 84.27 for puts really. It's going to be coming down here, breaking through that fair value gap, maybe take 50% of that fair value gap as a target. You could do that as well. 76.82 would be that weekly trigger for, weekly price target for puts on XLB. XLRE, the real estate ETF, I've heard horrible things about commercial real estate. So commercial real estate is bad. I don't know how this ETF is going to react. I guess it's going to be bad. So we have an outside bar here. So we're going to be looking for that 3-2. If you're a stratter here, we got full time frame continuity to the downside. So our trigger is 36.34. And our immediate target is going to be $35 flat on the head. If we want to go crazy here, our call trigger is going to be 37.88, break it to the upside, and then 38.96 is going to be our weekly upside target. For that, we do have a squeeze down. We do see a lot of selling pressure that is present. Let's take a look here at XLK. So XLK, I'm pretty high on this sector for pretty much the whole entire week. We have a nice consolidation pattern here if you're a Strider, a bullish Randy Jackson. So we have our 2 down here. We got a failed 2 down. So 149, gosh, 87 is going to be our call trigger. Our immediate price target is going to be 151.51. If we want to play puts down here because the market decides to sell, 146.51 is going to be our downside target. And my bad, our downside trigger. Our downside target's going to be 142.85 for XLK. XLU utilities. We got a failed 2 up here, so we're gonna lean put and lean a little bit bearish here, so we'll cover that first. So 68.35 is gonna be our put trigger, and then we're gonna look for the test of 66.85 as our first PT. We reverse and head to the upside to test out this bearish order block. 70.16 is going to be our call trigger, followed by really 71.89 being that test here for our first PT. We'd be pretty much all the way through this order block and would turn into a breaker box, which could turn us to the upside here of 73.79. Interesting thing to also note, we really haven't closed a body above 71. I think this is, yeah, 71.67 for a very long period of time. So getting a body closure above it on a high time frame is definitely going to cause this to move towards this level here of 73.79. Now, to cover my watch list for the rest of the week here, I'm going to start it off with snow. Snow seems very interesting to me because if we take a look here on the weekly time frame, we got that 2 down, we got that failed 2 up, 2 down. Everything in tech right now is pretty much in a bullish Randy Jackson situation here. Only difference with snow really is snow is down to the downside. We've already triggered down on the month. So I like this personally to the upside because we have this gap here on the daily and we got a failed 2 down. So we know immediately on the daily that our trigger for calls is going to be 142.20 with a PT of 144.55. We hop back over here to the weekly time frame and delete both of those out. Our weekly call trigger is going to be 147.99, and then we're going to have our target up here at 158. For puts, our trigger is going to be 136.59, and then to the downside here, it's going to be 134.17. With these levels, though, we pretty much are bouncing back and forth within this pennant to the downside. I'm favoring it more to the upside because of this consolidation pattern and tech really remaining bullish. You can see really on the weekly, we did see an equal amount of buyers and sellers step in. The next one I want to talk about is BA. BA got the horrible news on, God, I don't even know what day it was. It just had this massive gap down, and this instantly reminded me of Costco and how Costco got the news and all that kind of stuff. And it was like their sales were down, and it was like, okay, so what? Their sales are down. They're still a money generating machine. We have a nice hammer candle here on the daily, so I'm really going to be looking for this gap to be filled. So let's draw a fib here. 50% of the gap is 207.89. We hop back here to the weekly. This is a nasty candle. This is a nasty 2 down, but you got your 2 up, 2 up, 2 down. So we could see this nice TTO back through. We are just basically consolidating up here within this range for BA. If you look at higher time frames like the 12-month, you can really see that the whole reason why that sell pressure stepped in is because we have our 2 up on the year trigger at 229.67, which is crazy to think about. But let's hop back here to the weekly and plot our trigger. So 214.50 is going to be our trigger to the upside. 198.15 is going to be our put trigger to the downside with immediate PT of 193.92. To the upside for our calls, it's going to be 218.57. We hop back here to our daily time frame and really take a look at this. Where we bounced off of is actually very interesting. So we take our low and we take to our high, and I plot my ICT fibs here. We pretty much touched OTE, which I believe is your 0.79 to I think your set 0.705. So this is pretty good optimal trade entry. You're pretty much sitting at the 618 right now, and we could just reverse this back up here. You're in a bit of a discount right now with BA. Now I know everyone and their mother is talking about Amazon. I'm going to delete my arrow here. Let's actually delete all of our drawings. On the weekly time frame, we have the 2 up, 2 up, and then we got the 2 down, and we got this nasty hammer here. The huge thing that I want to point out is we haven't been able to really close a body above 103.56 on the weekly time frame. We get a body closure above this, it's going to shift the structure of this immediately, and our PT is going to be very easy because it's going to be right here at 114. Now, Amazon does have earnings coming up next week. It's not this week, so just keep that in mind. It might be the earnings move. Wink, wink. We do see a lot of volume, buyer volume stepping in here on Amazon. So for the week, our trigger to the upside for calls is going to be 103.20. Immediate PT really is going to be 104.20. With ideally looking at this candle, we also do have a lot of tech reporting this week, so keep that in mind. For puts, if we decide to reverse back down, 97.71 is going to be your trigger, with your immediate PT being here at 96.29 and looking down here at 95.70 as well on Amazon. So really, I'm leaning to the upside on this one. This week does seem very interesting, and I think we're going to fill it at some point. It might just be next week with earnings. We take a look here at CRM on the weekly. CRM is definitely interesting. You got your 2 up, you got your inside bar, and your failed 2 down here. So pretty easy here. 95.17 is going to be our call trigger, followed by our price target 1 of 198.93. Our third one, our second one, my bad, is going to be $200 on the dime. Our put trigger is going to be 187.31, and then to the downside, we're going to be looking at 182.65. We zoom out here, we do notice that it's been a very hard level to close above. Really is going to be this 201.12 is going to be an interesting level to take a look at because we've gotten up here, but every single time we get up and try to test this wick, we end up selling back off. So maybe this might be the week with all the tech earnings to send us up there. We do have time frame that's in conflict right now. The month is inside and the quarter is inside as well. So let's take a look at those. We pretty much created a hammer here on the month. Really not afraid of that too much. We just need to get the trigger here to the upside, and it's pretty darn close. Delete all of these lines here. Our trigger for the month to the upside is going to be $200 flat. So keep that in mind. If we take a look here at the 3-month as well, it's going to be $200 flat as well as our trigger. So you get a little bit of TMG to the upside here with CRM, and we turn all time frames to green to keep in mind. Also, beware, mind your gaps. We do have gaps to the downside with CRM as well in case if the market does want to sell. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's overall for CRM. UPS here for the weekly. I'm pretty bearish, honestly, on this one. I know it's against time frame, but this literally looks like a rising. Gosh, I can't speak today. A rising wedge. I believe we're inside on the week. Yeah, you got your 2 up, and you got your failed 2 up, and you got your inside on the week. Here we have relative equal lows. We do have a squeeze indicator pointing towards the upside. Really, for the weekly, it's going to be easy. 109, gosh, I cannot speak today. Sorry, guys. 194.04 to the upside is going to be my trigger for calls. 186.78 is going to be my trigger for puts. And then really for calls to the upside, 194.88. Ultimately, my target is going to be this wick up here at 296. Is going to be really my ultimate target for UPS. But to the downside, because I said I'm bearish on it, honestly. If you look at this, your put trigger is 186.78. Your next target is going to be 185.53, followed by 181.57. So those are going to be my targets to the downside. Really, these are going to be the 5 stocks that I'm watching this week.
Alrighty, going into this week. So this week, couple of names that I'm watching. Netflix. I do like Netflix a lot, potentially to actually fill this gap up at 350.59. So I would look to take calls above 339.18, ultimately to target our first price target of 146.21. From there, 346.21 to 347.52. Then from there, ultimately up to the gap fill at 350.59. But something to also be aware of, we do have a gap to the downside, and just like I said, buyers do tend to step in around 50% of the gap fill, so let's mark that level out. And right here, 50% of the gap fill, 50% of the gap fill to the downside is around 333.67 level. So just be careful if you are going to take the puts. Buyers do tend to step in at the gap fill. From here, also, I like Airbnb, another gap fill play potential to the upside. So Airbnb, as we can see, we're holding this trend line, we're holding, and we bounced again on Friday off the same exact trend line. As well, we also broke this downtrend line to the upside. So at this point, it's just a matter of time before we actually get this displacement candle to target this gap fill at 118.47. I do have a put trigger. If the put trigger was the trigger, I'd be kind of careful and really trim at your PT1, not too greedy on the put side. But if we were to trigger puts, I would look to take puts below 113.03 to target 111.40 and calls above 114.82, ultimately targeting this gap fill. SQ I like a lot. As we've seen, it's been moving very, very slow. But what I'm watching for is ultimately this downtrend line to break on a 4-hour time frame to give us this push up to potentially come up and fill this gap up at 72.65. And last and definitely not least, I like AMD and NVIDIA actually. So with AMD, I like a lot. As we've noticed, we swept liquidity here back from the 6th on Friday. We never got a close below that low, and buyers instantly stepped in. So kind of want to see if we can actually get this push up to potentially test this liquidity at the trend line, and then also come back up here to our price targets of 94.97 and 96.07. So I like calls on AMD above 91.83 and puts on AMD below 90.50, ultimately to target 89.02. I'd be careful. We do have this trend line that's down here that's likely buyers are able to step in from there. And NVIDIA, same kind of setup. As we've noticed, we swept liquidity on Friday. And I do like this big candle that we ended up closing with. So we want to see if buyers can step in tomorrow and continuously be aggressive throughout the week. Ultimately, come through this. Our first price target for NVIDIA above the call trigger is 268.86. And then if we can get a close above that level, we do have this price action zone where it's likely to come straight to 273, 274 level. If buyers do not push through tomorrow or throughout the week, we do have a put trigger as well below 262.20 to ultimately target 258.50, and then from there 253.87.